Getting swamped with solar radiation. Try reducing the gain on your sensors. Initial results don't make any sense. The star's core reactions are failing, but it still has so much mass that it should be conducting fusion. It's as if it suddenly decided that it was no longer going to do hydrogen fusion, just heavier fusion processes. This kind of matter is ejected during corona events. We should be able to collect some with your ship's ram scopes if we head to one of the ejection zones. Results are coming in now. This still isn't making any sense. It's as if the star's life cycle was suddenly accelerated somehow, but it never went through an expansion cycle. There's no good explanation for this yet. Maybe something else in the system caused it. If this is system-wide, we should find evidence of similar problems, with nuclear and chemical reactions in the system's gaseous bodies. There's a large amount of gaseous stellar matter further from the star. We should have no trouble checking that hypothesis. Very strange. Usually nebulae are massive clouds between star systems. Finding a micronebula in a system like this is quite rare. This may be the result of an event such as a cosmic string, shearing through a gas giant and turning it back into particulate matter. I'll need some more readings to know for certain. all the particulate matter will make your ship's sensors unreliable beyond a few kilometers. Coming in now. Nothing unusual coming in from the...
Greetings, unknown vessel. This is Administrator Kumar K. Please provide identification. Welcome to Lukari. Visitors here are... These problems started only recently. We have a solar... We're getting your telemetry now. The probe's made it out of orbit. Engaging secondary boosters to head out of planetary range. It's gone to warp. The probe is arriving at the solar corona. Deploying chromodynamic booster. No effect. It didn't work. Repeat. Well, it didn't work. That was our one shot.
My name is Cal Dano. Looks like I've arrived at the perfect time. I'm here to help with the problem.
With apologies for the All right.
You won't be able to get a lock on...
Welcome aboard. I'm Cal Dano.
You moved me here without crossing the intervening space. You have quantum teleportation technology.
Yes, we call it a transporter. It has a limited range, but it's useful for going from surface to ship.
Impossible! This ship's interior is massive, even though it's no bigger than a shuttle.
My ship uses compactified subspace holds. It's bigger on the inside.
This is all quite overwhelming. This Cal Dano person is another stranger from somewhere else. And you're here to help with our dying star? Oh. Yes, I suppose I can see how a star suddenly dying might attract someone's attention. It's an odd coincidence. We'd probably never have met if it weren't for the trouble with the star. My people have never really had any desire to go exploring out there. We've sent a few probes and met a couple of neighbors, but we're happy at home, and we have what we need, so why risk it? I guess this crisis answers that question. The galaxy is bigger than us, and to survive, we need to look past just our homeworld. It sounds like you have a lot of experience. What can I do to help? My home is at risk. I want to do something, to be involved in solving this problem.
Welcome to my ship. Welcome to my ship. Don't be alarmed. This vessel is from the 31st century and it has some technology you may not recognize yet. I can assure you, though, that I'm here to help. Correct. I'm associated with the temporal division of, well, let's just say that I'm an ally from the future, and I'm here to save the Lucari star. No, I'm trying to prevent changes. Someone's tampered with this star. It's not supposed to die out here. The Lucari don't disappear today. At least not if we have any say in it. I have some technology that can help, but we'll need to rework it in order to repair the star's fusion processes. I'll regulate the device's main power state from this console. Sounds like whoever tried to destabilize...
What are those things?
Enemy targets on sensor. Prepare for combat.
Tholians! Keep them away! I need to finish these computations!
Cover.
I have the device shielded in a force field, but I can't deploy it until these Tholians are out of the way. Shields are back online. They shouldn't be able to get any more boarding particles. We've got a breather. Now I just have to charge the device and prepare it for use. In just a few minutes, it'll propagate a quantum wave shift that should correct the star's stalled fusion process. You should head back to your ship, and I'll send the administrator back home.
The device is charging. We're just a few minutes away from repairing the star.
Give us the talk, mutant. The talk, mutant, or you will be destroyed.
managed to steal the Tox Uthot while they had my ship webbed. That must have been their plan all along. My data suggests the Tholians use a trilithium warhead to destabilize the star. I have some thoughts on that, but I will need to do...
Caldono is... I wish I could act...
Oh, I think our friend...
I have collected an amazing amount of information about what happened to this star. Thank you for bringing me along. Once we're back in Allied space, I'll take a shuttle home.
A first contact is a significant event for the Federation. We have been contacted. The data from the future.
Noi and his allies.
We've been in regular... We recently...
Good to see you again. Looks like the two missing ships are here, although they're both in a disabled state. Neither of them have responded to our hails.
That's entirely possible. Even minimal exposure to the Nexus can be pretty disruptive to ship systems. I think we should take a closer look. Things could be worse than our initial scans have indicated.
Reaver, denying me. Denying me. Send party invite.
Apologies.
Something's not...
Not a lot. What's cracking? It's a bit loud, isn't it? See if I put that down a bit.
Whatever they fired just disrupted most of our systems.
Increase in ship speed
to 3.
We're still trying.
But you can only remove one item a day. So if you need more than one item, am I? When did that happen? I'm close to being a first. Yeah. A day.
Looks like someone acted.
Ah.
This holodeck's damaged.
Oh, okay.
Let's try the next one. Alright, let's get to work. Someone's loading up a holodeck.
Activating Program Barclay, 42 Epsilon. Safety protocols are disengaged.
Oh, well, if you need anything, if you need something from slot 3, just ask the admirals. They'll get it out for you when they're on. But check it should be on soon, because I got my pulse laser beams out of there. I picked one up, and he gave me the other two for my other build. Because we're donating virtually fucking day and night to the fleet holdings, so you know, it's not like as if we're not contributing. What's it do? Anti-proton.
Oh, thank.
That's definitely a red.
I've got an
program.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because you can get one from the reputation, one from the mission, and one from crafting. I haven't got any use for one because I never use anti-proton. I only ever use Paralon, phasers, Tetrion, and
This is Commander. Our defense.
Someone's
I don't really like anti-proton very much, to be honest. But thank you for the offer.
Thank you for coming. We responded to an alien of
picking up transporter signals, multiple contacts. We've got incoming.
Fucking it's windy, it's cold and windy over
enemy
here.
contacts inbound.
Yeah.
Looks like we bought ourselves a little.
Ah. So you gotta get.
Right.
So you gotta get someone to come and plow the road.
Ensign Seitel, difficult to
shovel this.
I have a feeling.
Take the psionic in.
It'd probably be a mixture of being wet and ice, which is pretty dangerous.
me in reinforcements.
It's funny that you say that they've cancelled school, because me and the missus were talking today about the kids' school, about whether or not to send them back to their old school or to put them to another school. Because we moved a few months ago, and like things aren't really going too well for the kids at the new school.
Heads up! More hostiles incoming!
Yeah, so... just the way that they're being taught. They do everything back to front. They're not catering, because my kids have learning issues. And we've tried to explain it to the school, and like they do things completely fucking back to front. Like,
you've got
an example, right?
Main
Give
power's
me an
offline,
example
and
of
there's
how
a
they
lot
do
of
things
Nexus
back to
radiation
front.
getting past the screen.
Normally when
I'll handle the power situation while
your child
you
is
deal
in
with the
grade
radiation.
prep,
Once that's
they'll
done,
assign
we
a
can bring
grade
the security
5
systems
or a
back
grade
online.
6 student as their buddy until they settle in for like the first term. Well, this school, instead of doing it with the grade 5s or the 6s, they get a grade 4 student to do the first term of having a buddy to help out that student to adjust in the first term in grade 2. So it's like the kid's already been there, a child's already been at that school for the first 2 years of their school life. It's something that you would do when they're in prep, not when they're in grade 1 or grade 2, because they've already they've been there long enough that they are settled and they know where everything is and they know what the routine is. Then you got that, and then you got the issue where we've tried to explain to them, well, we've got with one child, they're very anxious and they're very this and they're very that, and they've got that they struggle in this area, in this area, in this area, and they turn around and say, yeah, we've picked up on it, we'll address it and try and cater to it, but then nothing happens, nothing comes of it. It just ends up being all talk and no action. And then, yeah. Yeah.
Nice work. That did it.
Oh, okay. See, here, you've got to do like a test, and if your kid falls under a certain score, then you get given the help, like to have an aid teacher in the classroom. But because my oldest son, he passed by like 2 points, he doesn't get the help that he needs. But he's so far behind. And like the old school that they were in, they restructured his
Starfleet disagrees with you on that.
curriculum to suit his needs during the classroom, so that he could catch up. But this new school, it doesn't matter what you say to him, it goes in one route and out the other. Like, for example, yesterday after school, I picked the kids up, and my youngest son, who's about 8, turns around to me and goes, you know, he was reading a book with the teacher, and the teacher got mad with him because he couldn't read a certain word or spell a certain word. So she got mad at him. And it's like, well, if you can't handle the frustration of teaching, you know, then why teach? Because they already know that he's behind. They already know that he's struggling in this area. So, you know, why would you turn around and yell at the kid and make him feel even more like shit?
It's back on the force
and down about it.
This isn't up. The Challenger might.
And then, yeah.
Mm. It's very proactive. We even have special schools.
Yeah, we've got special schools here, but they're like, you got your private schools, your state schools, and then you got your special schools that, you know, help with kids that have need, but they're like separate. They're not integrated all into one unless you can, you know. Yeah, so like.
The Challenger stands ready to assist you.
Yeah, and then this here, like, if you do the state school, it's not compulsory to pay for fees. Unless you're at a private school. So anyway, they rang on my missus today, and they were just like, she woke me up this afternoon, and the way that they spoke, and you know, the way that they made it feel, and because like the area that we live is Patterson House. It's not like living in Chirac where you're among all the rich people, but this suburb, they act like, you know, because they've got a few fucking lakes and rivers, and their home is like, you know, on the lake, and they've got their multi-million-dollar fucking boats. They look down on other people, if you get what I mean.
It seems that is.
And so, like, we've only been here for like 3 months, and we've really noticed it because we're not like that.
You showed mercy
to
someone
us,
who wasn't inclined
to me and my
return
partner, you know, it doesn't matter
if
you know, if an individual has money or doesn't have fucking money, they're still a human being, regardless, and you treat them as such.
You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so like we're getting to the point where we really want to, like, we're really fucking unhappy with the school, and I just fucking lost my shit today when she told me everything, and I was like, nah, I'm not my kids aren't going back to that school. I don't give a fuck. I'm not taking them back there tomorrow. And then
interesting report. This alien was
my
trapped.
Options is to either get them back into their old school or send them to another school. Well, the old school isn't set up like other schools where you have to be within so many kilometres or you've got to be within a zone to be eligible to go back to that school. There just has to be room for the student to be able to be placed in the school. So the missus like messaged me early and, you know, was asking me, oh, do you think it's the right decision to not send them back? Should we send them tomorrow just until we get them into the other school? And it infuriates me that I go to pick my kids up, and my daughter's angry because she's had a bad day, or either because a student's been nasty to her, or a teacher's just been a complete fucking ass. And like I remember when I was at school. I mean, before I enlisted in the army and all that, like I was 6 years behind in school. There was a time and a place where I couldn't read or write. And it took me a very long time to catch up, to a point where I ended up having to repeat a year. But I persevered. I learned how to read and I learned how to write. I'm not very good with spelling, but I've got the basic essentials of knowledge to help me get through in life and be able to get a job and support my family and shit like that. But I mean, it's getting to a point where the kids are they either fight us on wanting to go in the morning, or they just give up. And once they give up, you know what I mean? So yeah, and yeah. Like the other school that they were at, when my oldest son was having problems with one of the teachers that was giving him a hard time, we pushed the issue for the school to change him to another class. And as soon as they changed him to another class, the improvement in him wanting to go to school, wanting to do homework, the change was so fucking drastic that the school was willing to work with us. I mean, it was a little bit of a fight at first, but once they, came around, then because it wasn't we weren't the only parents that were saying, hold on a moment, what this teacher is doing to the students isn't right. You can't go belittling a child, and yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and it's getting to a point where it's having a really big effect on the missus. She's unhappy because the kids are unhappy. She's, so, and she's at that point where she's not in the frame of mind of making a rational decision, an important decision on this particular topic. So I've just turned around and gone, fucking right. Kids are staying home tomorrow. They're not fucking going. Let's get them back into the other school or into another school that will cater to what they need and will help them in a way that they need, because this school just doesn't give a fuck. All they give a shit is money. And yeah, because like See, here the government, the government subsidizes the school fees for public schools only, or state schools as we call them here. But if you go to like a private school, that's when you start really, you really fucking pay out of your ass to fucking send your kid. Because like some private schools here, they're anywhere from like, up to 5 to 10 grand a term, kind of thing. So like, it unless you've got the money, it can be really fucking expensive. But like, I'm trying, like, this year is the last year of primary school for my oldest son, and I don't want him, like, as I've tried to explain to him, when you get to high school, it's gonna be, completely fucking different. And, I don't want him to get to high school and go, oh fuck, this is too hard because they haven't prepared me for what to expect, like they're supposed to in grade 6, and then, and go, well, I don't want to do this no more, and drop out. Like, the kids don't need to grow up to be fucking doctors or, brain surgeons, but they need to have enough of an education where, they can go out afterwards into the world and go, okay, well, if this is the job I want to go and do, this is what I have to go and do to get that job, and, be able to cope and be able to manage. I mean, some of my personal issues to do with when I was at school, even now at 35, they still have a little bit of an effect. When I'm trying to write stuff down, but I've learned to adapt, to find a way to adjust and work a way around it so that I can manage it. If I have to go and fill out an application, then I can go and do that now. And I'm just trying to get them to understand it, and trying to get the school to work with us so that they don't give up on shit. It's like pushing shit up a fucking hill with this school, and I'm at a point where I've just had enough of them. They just and like so like the other school was fantastic. It was a really good school. Say again? Transportation, we drove them to school. Yeah, so we don't have... Some schools here have that kind of system, and then but the majority of schools in Australia don't. So like if you got the high school has that. Yeah. We do have that, but it's only when you get to high school. That's the only thing. It's once you get to high school that we have that. But they're still public buses. Yeah, so we don't have it like that. It's only from like high school onwards. Yeah, very different. Yeah. Look, I already said to my missus, I said, look, if we send them back to the other school, the only day that I can't pick them up after school is Fridays, and that's only because of the time I start work. So, like, for me to pick them up, I have to leave here at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon to be there by 3:30. But then by the time I get from home back, because of I cop all the traffic coming back, by the time I get home, I should have already left to go to work, because then it takes me another hour to get to work. So Fridays would be the only day that I couldn't do it. The only catch is Fridays, me and her both start work at the same time and would both be in the same boat. That would be the only catch. So like one of us has to like drop a day. Yeah. And for her, it's a little bit easier for her to do that than what it is for me because of the industry I work in. Sort of thing. I mean, like we both work in hospitality, but she does gaming, I do security. If she needs to start later or, you know, do it so that she can work around the kids, she can do that. Whereas I really can't, yeah. It's a lot harder. So like she's, you know, it's still all up in the air on how we're going to go about doing that if we decide to move them back, but I've already got my mind set on, no, I'm getting them out of that school. But like, because tonight she's been asking me, because she's at work at the moment, she's been asking me, you know, is it the right thing to do? Should we really do that? Should we send them tomorrow? I was like, oh, well, I'll get all their school shit ready for them in case we decide that we are going to send them in the morning. And then work out the rest, but it's... Well, I'm done talking to the school. There's no point talking to this school. It goes in one in and... my only option is well, the way I perceive it is ring up the other school, see if they've got 3 vacancies and send them back to that school. As far as the other school goes, it's like fucking talking to a brick wall. They sit there and tell you what you want to hear for your child, but then as soon as your back is turned, they do completely the fucking opposite. Like I went in there one morning into the school with my partner, just to see what my missus, because I was like, nah, don't worry about it. It's just the first term. We've just moved house, moved school. The kids need to settle. That was my attitude at first. And then she was like, no, come to the school. Come and try and talk to these fucking teachers and you'll see what I mean. So I said, alright. I came with her in the morning. We dropped all 3 of them off together. I tried to approach and speak to my youngest son's grade 3 teacher. She had no clue to what I was asking her about to do with these forms for my kid's excursion. When I tried talking to her, she had a fucking attitude. She snubbed me off, turned around, put her back to me, and walked off. And I'm like, you know, I'm a parent of one of your students here. I'm trying to address something, and you put your back to me and you walk away. Like, you know, I don't even take that kind of attitude from cunts I have to deal with at work. Let alone I'm gonna cop that from a fucking teacher that I don't even know. And like, to me that was just fucking rude. And it was from that moment on that they just, and that was just one teacher. That was just one. I could only imagine what the other 2 are like. And it was from that moment on I was like, nah, let's just put them into another school. And she was like, no, first we'll talk to the principal, we'll try and address some of these issues. I said, alright. So she went down to the school, she spoke to the principal, the kids went down there and talked with the principal. And I was under the impression, okay, all these things got addressed, and they were going to make these changes and accommodate, you know, their needs to do with learning so that they can learn. And it comes to like the last 24 hours, like yesterday and today, and you know, like in 2 weeks the first term is finished, and no improvement, no changes, and if anything it's just gotten worse. So we've just wasted a whole fucking term for nothing. And it's just, yeah, it has just infuriated me today.
Oh yeah, I look livid, to say the least.
And I just, yeah.
That's why I don't understand people like go into a different profession.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't understand them either. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people these days? Like, if you're going to be a teacher, then, you know, you got to be prepared that they have a bit more patience and go, well, okay, if this doesn't work, maybe I'll try this, or if that doesn't work, I'll try something else. They're fucked. The school system is just ridiculous.
The Lucari have
What's this one? Yeah. It's fucking... You know what? Do you know the one thing that shits me about fucking schools nowadays? How they sit there and they accommodate for all these other different nationalities, right? About, you know, Christmas and fucking Easter, you know, like... You're not allowed to go to your kid's not allowed to go to primary school and say, oh, well... At the end of the year, it's fucking Christmas. Oh, it's, you know, it's like, why the fuck are we accommodating for these motherfuckers? Like, they come to our country for a fucking better life. They should adjust to our way of life. You know, it's like if we go to their fucking country, you know, we've got to go by their laws and their way of life and their traditions and, you know, otherwise... Yeah, but they refuse to fucking do it here. Or, you know, we've got to change our way of being Australian just to fucking accommodate these cunts. Fucking pisses me off. And I mean, and then when you turn around and say that, they're like, oh, you're being racist and this and that. It's like, that's not being fucking racist, that's just the reality of it. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you, trust me. That's how it is here. You get all these greeting cards that are of power here. That's how you had all these changes.
Yeah. What do they call it now? Fucking happy holidays? Like, really? Yeah. Or you can't do certain, like, you know how at the end of the term, I don't know if they do it in America, but here, you know, at the end of the year or at the end of the last term, they put on a school play and, you know, and do all this stuff, right? Now, sometimes they stop it so that they don't offend other cultures. And it's like, really? Yeah. it's like... Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It fucking... That is like one of the biggest things that shit me in fucking schools these days. Yeah, it's fucked. Exactly, I know, it's... Pete... Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not religious at all, and personally I don't believe in it. To me, I think it's the biggest fucking contradiction that, you know, someone's put together, and, you know, I just think it's, for me personally, I just think it's all, you know, a load of crap. Because, I mean, people fight over, you know, fight, and they use religion as a means to justify their actions to do harm to others, whether it be Christian, Catholic, Judaism, fucking Muslims. Makes no fucking difference. If you read the Bible, the Quran, and a few other different forms of religion, you know, they all say the same thing in one way or another, but yet they all contradict one another in some fashion or another. So, you know, for me personally, you know, I think it's just, it does more harm to society than what it actually does good. Because, you know, how can someone turn around and justify, you know, killing fucking, you know, 20,000 people or 5,000 people just based on the fact of the Quran? It's just, you know. Yeah.
But as for the aspect of, like, you know, that there is, you know, something more than you know, kind of humble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you want to steer down a better path than to just be, you know, like, I'll just go and do whatever I want.
Oh yeah, look, if you're using religion for that purpose, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I think people who...
Christians, I mean, years ago, centuries ago,
Yeah.
You had a group of people that took the religion, twisted it to their own
To, yeah, to suit their agendas.
exactly.
And that's what I don't agree with. I've never...
We've moved way past that, you know, and the only problem is that, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, with thousands and thousands of years, but they haven't even.
Yeah, but you see, the Quran, the Prophet of Muhammad, from my understanding of it, and I might be wrong in the way that I explain this, but from my understanding,
Yeah, I have very little exposure to it as well. Yeah.
Muhammad, the Prophet of Muhammad, is some way the brother or has a relation to a religious figure that we celebrate or believe in that is within the Christian or Catholic faith. Just somewhere along the line, they went their separate ways and they formed their own fucking religions. One seems to branch off from the other. Yeah. Yeah. And like there's like, and then if you really go into depth, there really isn't very much individuality between them all, except for the different beliefs and rituals that you practice and shit like that. But you know, you got the Jews and the Palestinians. They've been fighting for over 400 years over the promised, sacred land. It's a whole religious holy war. Then you got the fucking Muslims who fight the Christians and use the Quran as a means to corrupt and brainwash people to go and blow themselves up. Like, what kind of fucking religion is that? What religion possesses a person or corrupts a person to a point where they jump in a plane and fly it into a fucking building and kill fucking 5,000 or 6,000 people just for no fucking reason? And go, oh, well, you did this 20 or 30 years ago, so this is our means of getting back to you, but I will use my religion as a means to justify my actions. Like, it's just a fucking bunch of bullshit. And it really shits me because, like, I remember when my oldest daughter, when she was still in primary school, just before she started, the school tried to get her into, God and the church, and I was like, really? Like, what the fuck does that have to do with school? Like, keep the two separate. I don't want my kid to... Yeah. So, in... Yeah.
So now, we're going to have our winter show and the month of December or whatever. And it's just like, okay. So, who's the secret to say that everybody has to be security team, report to Dr. Base 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lovely way to fucking look at it for society.
You know,
G'day, who's that? Rusty? How you doing, mate? Russ. How you doing, bud? It is. Yeah. I guess I gotta. What? Me? Yeah. Well, yeah, 'cause like, depending on my shifts that I get, sometimes I can do a 4-hour shift, a 6-hour shift. Other times I might do a 10-hour shift. Sometimes I might be even really lucky and I might get 3 days of 14-hour shifts. So like, it completely fucks my body clock. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah.
We've been in regular contact. We recently received...
Mm.
With the war over...
Yeah. Well, said that was the same for me. Like last year, when the footy season here started, and they did the first game back at North Melbourne Football Grounds. They had Fox News and not Fox News, Fox Sports televising it live. So I had to do 3 days, 3 nights, 14-hour shifts, and all I had to do was sit in my car and watch a satellite dish. It was like fucking $500,000 worth of equipment that no one stole it or screwed it up. And then on top of that, do constant patrols of the grounds to make sure that no one had jumped the fence with their dog throughout the night or during the day. So like I would start at about 5, 6 o'clock, and I would finish about 9, 10 the next day. It would take me about an hour to get home, hour and a half, depending on the traffic. I would sleep for a few hours, and then I'd have to get back up and go and do it all again. But the good thing about that was that I was getting $400 and something a night to do it. By the end of the weekend, I had earned in 3 days just over $1,000 after tax and super. So it worked out quite nicely for me. And I don't mind shifts like that. Like for me personally, if I'm going to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours for a work site, I want the hours, because to go and do 4 hours and drive an hour and a half, 2 hours, it just isn't worth it. Not for the amount of money you spend in fuel. Yeah. Yeah, so, you know. But I mean, like, this new site that I'm working at the moment, because they're only keeping me at this new site, they're really happy with the way that I'm doing things, because I train all their new guards. All the new guards come to that work site, and I've got to take them through the induction and train them and teach them, and then evaluate whether or not they're fucking any good as a guard, or, you know, if they're just a guard you just only use when you really have to. And you know, some of them are really good, some of them are really potential, and others are just absolute fuckwits. You know, like I had one guy that it didn't matter. Like this place I work at, it's a country pub, and you know, you got locals that have been going to this pub, you know, 25, 30 years. They're set in their ways. There's a way to talk to them. There's a way to treat them. And you get to know them really well. Everybody knows everyone. It's a really tight kind of community. And, you know, the minute you rub one of or two of the locals up, that's it. You've rubbed them up, all of them, the wrong way. Anyway, I was trying to get this young kid that started with us to understand that, you know, if you're dealing with 3 or 4 blokes that are like, you know, middle age kind of thing, and they're there with their mates, and you take away their dignity, or you embarrass them in front of their mates when you've got to cut them off or throw them out, whatever, then you're going to have some serious fucking problems. Or if you speak to them in a manner that's rude or disrespectful, you know, unless they're being rude and disrespectful towards you, you know, they've still got 20 years up on you. You know, show them a little bit of respect, allow them to keep their dignity. You know you're going to have to throw them out, but, you know, at least allow them that chance to keep their dignity, because the minute you take that away from an older bloke, they get... It's, oh, fuck yeah, man. And an older bloke don't like being told by a younger bloke who's 20, 25 years younger than him that he can't fucking drink, or he can't do what he wants to do at that given time. You know what I mean? So, you know, there is and it being a country pub, it makes it even harder. And I tried so hard for like 6 months just to get through to him. You know, if you do it this way and you talk to him that way, you'll see you'll get a better fucking result. If you're not in the guy's face, you know, with a closed fist and an open hand, and you're, you know, banging your hand together saying, mate, you cannot do that, you know, the guy is going to crack the shits. You know, he's going to be intimidated by it, or just think you're just a plain out fucking idiot, and then one of us are going to have to come along, throw him out, do your job, and then save your ass at the same time. And oh man, after 6 months I just turned around and said, right guys, this kid's going to get fucking hurt. Like, you can just look at someone in this job and you can just see if they've got the gift to be able to talk to people without being violent. Yeah, and for them who don't, yeah, and they, you know, like, he would be like, yeah, okay, I'll do it that way, I see what you're saying, and the minute your back was turned, and do completely the fucking opposite. So, one night, it was me and him, just the two of us. I had something like 400 people on one side of the pub for this Mandine fight, and another 150 on the other side of the pub. Anyway, it was getting towards the end of the night. I had signed off. I was waiting for him to finish so I could take him home. I go there at 6 o'clock to see what he's doing and if everything's alright. He comes running out of the bar. Oh, I need your help. I said, what's wrong, mate? He goes, I'm trying to get six blokes out. They don't want to leave. They're drunk. And they want to fight me. I'm like, alright. Now, I'm not signed on, so technically I shouldn't have done what I've done because I'm not covered by insurance and I can get into a lot of trouble. So I said, alright, Go and let the manager know what's going on. I'll go and have a look and I'll give you a hand. So I go in there. It's not 6 guys. It's fucking 9 blokes who want to cave his head in. And there's only and it's just 2 guards. And it's like, what did you fucking do to fire up 9 blokes in a bar that want to kill you? And we're in a small confined smoking area. So you got tables, you got chairs, you got glasses. There's so many different variables in that instant that can go wrong because, you know, you look at one bloke and you see what's around him. Yeah, so there's no escape. And I haven't got, because distance is always my best friend. So if I've got a guy 5 feet away from me, but he's got a glass next to him or he's got a chair, well, he could use that chair. He could use that glass. He could use it on me. He could use it on another patron. I don't know. And then I've got to look at, well, who's not involved that could get caught in the crossfire. So I've got all these different things that I'm trying to watch, and I've got to tell him, hey, step back and stop provoking the bloke. Like, what are you fucking doing, mate? I'm trying to help you, and you're aggravating him? Like, that's not the way. You just keep making it worse. Step back, close your mouth, watch. So I kicked 3 of them out, and out of the 9, the manager come out and she goes, just leave the other 6 and go home. I said, are you sure about that? Because, you know, they're a bit done and dusted. She goes, no, it's all right. They're all locals. You got the 3 main blokes, the 3 main troublemakers out of the pub. Them 6 can stay. I said, all right. Signed him off, took him home, and I said to him, mate, you're going to get fucking hurt one of these days. I go, if this is how you do things, can you imagine if you're at, you know, Ports, because he ended up going to work at another company, and he went to work at Portsea Pub, and Portsea Pub, you know, it's even, you know, you got a lot of rich people, a lot of, you know, the clientele is very different. It's an older crowd, they're rich, they've got money, they have a different attitude. So again, you've got to treat them very differently as well. You know, there's a way to go. You know, certain people in the line of work I do, I find different people, you've got to speak to them in a certain way, differently to what you might speak to another bloke, because, you know, what you might say to them can either get them on board with what you want them to do, or it can go against you. One of the two. And I tried to teach him, you've got to read and see people for who and what they are, and then learn to adapt. Okay, because that's the only way you're going to make it in this industry. And I haven't seen him since, but it wouldn't surprise me if by now he would have copped a fucking beating from someone. Yeah, it is. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, man. Yeah. Fuck yeah. And you never did it again because you learnt your lesson after that.
I ain't gonna do that. That'll fuck it up. Some people, that's just how they learn.
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot.
I mean, like, there was a really big age difference between me and him. He was only 20. I'm 35. And he just didn't understand that, like,
The younger generation.
yeah.
The younger generation.
Mm.
They're all up fucking walking around with a stick.
Yeah.
We're not fucking stupid.
Yeah, because we've been there, we've done it. Mm. Yeah, he didn't get it. he's what I call, he's fucking shit for brains, or he'd be fucking dangerous. Put it that way. Because like I've been working at this pub for like 2 years now, or just a little bit more than 2 years. I'm there every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All the locals know me. They all come up, how you going? They shake my hand. If I turn around to them and say, look, mate, you've had a big day. It's been a good run. Call it a night. Come back tomorrow. Yep, no worries. I get what you're saying. I'm a bit pissed. Shakes my hand, walks out the door. No issues. No fights, no violence, no blood, nothing. Come back the next day, it's all good again. But you try to pass that on to the younger generation, and they would rather be heavy-handed with an older bloke than just to show him a bit of fucking, courtesy and a bit of respect and just be polite. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get more of a chance of there being violence from a younger guy who's in their 20s than a bloke that's in his 40s or 50s, because he's been there, he's done it. He's only now, at the age that he is now, he's only out to have a good time and enjoy his night, not to fucking sit there and be a tool bag. But yeah, the frustrations. I've been working on my ship, on my Dreadnought. I did quite a few nice little changes and modifications. I even spun Chappie out the other night when I versed him in PvP. I lasted about a minute and a half to 2 minutes longer than what I normally do, and he tripped out when I ended up somehow teleporting his ship in a different direction somewhere away from me. And I mean, he still killed me, but at least I was able to last a bit longer.
Yeah. That's right. I haven't really done much else with my NX. I've been more focused on my Ardea and my temporal battle cruiser.
Oh, you got a temporal battle cruiser? I got the Dreadnought. You want to put that up against my Dreadnought?
This thing isn't ready for that, man. My weapons are still only at 12.
Yeah, same are mine. I'm just working on that new Bajoran ship.
I ain't got that just yet. I need a couple more marks. I'll get that.
I'm going for a mix of phaser and quantum build as far as weaponry go.
That's a good set. How much you got on your quantum set?
I've got I have to get one more piece or two more pieces, and then I've got a 3-piece set. So I've got the heavy cannon. All I need is the torpedo and the console, and then for my phaser set, I just need the torpedo, and that's about it, really. I think, because I've got the cannon.
What torpedo run on that then?
I'll finish my smoke and I'll tell you.
Yeah, bought one of them. I forget what it's called. I had it long enough. The Paradox Temporal Dreadnought.
Oh yeah.
But I bought one of them.
Let's see. So I've got the Trilithium enhanced phaser cannon turret on the back with the Trilithium enhanced omnidirectional beam, and I've got the quantum phase dual heavy cannon on the front. I'm going to change out the Terran Task Force photon torpedo out for the quantum torpedo, and I'm going to chuck that Trilithium torpedo in the back.
Well, you're going to want the quantum phase torpedo on there to get the three-piece set.
That's what I'm going to get.
Any damage you do, you can regenerate your shields.
I've got the console, I just need the torpedo, which I'm about to go and do now.
Alright.
And then I've got to change out my tactical consoles, because at the moment I'm running a disruptor turret on the front in the last console of my weapon slots, because I didn't have anything else to put there at the moment. Once I change that out, I'll change out the other console there.
Hello.
Hey, bud.
It has a universal console. So I like that it has 4 engineering, 4 science, and technically I can make it have 4... to do, but right now I actually have a... I think I got this console from a